Good afternoon, Prime Minister, ministers, friends from China, from Malaysia. It's my great honor. I'm so excited today here to launch the Free Trade Zone. 4 months ago, Prime Minister and I was in Beijing. We talked about for the first 10 minutes that we decided to do something in Malaysia to launch the Digital Free Trade Zone. At that time, I think my team and I thought, is it possible in 4 months? Because we've been discussing that project with many countries, Europe, Asia. For 4 months to launch that, it's almost impossible. There are so many things to do, the bureaucratics and technology, all the suspicions. But after 4 months, this thing happened. And I want to share some ideas here that it took us only 10 minutes to agree on this project. But I've been thinking about this for more than 10 years. And I'm pretty sure Prime Minister have also thought about this for a long, long time. Only you're ready, you prepare it for a long time. And when opportunity comes, when chance comes, we can make it happen. Malaysia inspired me in 1996, 1997. When I was starting my internet business in 1995, I remember 1997 or 6, I read a news in China about multimedia corridor or something in Malaysia. It did not work out, but it made me think, something there in that country has a great idea for the digital world. And the thing that I learned was many years ago when I first invited to go to Davos to join the World Economic Forum. At that time, China was not joining the WTO yet. I thought the world is going to welcome the globalization. But that day, hundreds of people were against it. People would demonstrate on the street. People hate globalization. So I had no idea because we thought globalization was good, but people did not like it. So I was to start to think about what is globalization? How can we do globalization in a better ways? So that was year 2001. But I think today a lot of people hate cross-border trade. A lot of people say globalization is no good. I am a strong believer of globalization. I think globalization is still a baby. It's only 20, 30 years. We should give globalization another 20 or 30 years. We should make it more inclusive. We should make more people involved in it. In the history, those countries that have a great emperors and the kings, they control the trade. If they love to do the cross-border trade, their nation's business will grow. Their nation's business people will be happy and the people will be happy. In the past 50 years, the world trade was controlled by 60,000 big companies. And only big companies have this opportunity. So the small business did not have opportunity. Developing countries did not have this opportunity. What if we can make 90% of the small business? What if we can make the developing countries that benefit from globalization? What if we give another 30 years for the globalization to be more inclusive? This is what I believe. The first human beings, the first globalization, which I think is a Silk Road. And at that time, they're using the traditional way, the Silk Road. Today, at the internet time, I think we should transfer Silk Road to E-Road. The E-Road is to connect every country. The E-Road is to give inclusive opportunity for everybody. The E-Road, which I believe, in the ancient time, in the ocean, we have a seaport. Airplane, we have an airport. Bus, we have a bus stop. On the E-Road, we need an E-Hub. That E-Hub will empower everybody. If you have dreams, if you want to working hard, if you have a dream outside the country, your area, please join that E-Hub. So today, the DFTZ, the Digital Free Trade Zone, is the first digital free trade zone outside China. And it's amazing. I really would love to thank Prime Minister, thank Malaysia, and thank everybody here who give it commitment to this project. This is the first hub specifically designed for small business and young people. We know in the whole world, every government said, small business is important. We should have small business, but we should have found the real solutions for them. We should find the real policies for them, and we should have a real facilities to empower the small business. This e-hub, this digital free trade is the one that we feel excited about, and we promise we will work out together to improve it. And this is the new beginning. So the other thing I want to say, in this free trade, this digital free trade zone, we're going to using the new technology to empower small business and young people. It will be logistic hubs. We're going to one-stop service. We're going to big data. As long as you have a good products, you have a good ideas, this facility is going to enable you. And people say, why Malaysia? Of course, I said 4 months ago in Beijing, and I did not think we could make it happen. But Malaysia is very business friendly. It's very efficient. It's much more efficient than I thought. The other thing, I told about the story last time in Beijing, and I would share the story again. The Silk Road, which China oriented. China is famous for the Silk Road, but Malaysia, without Malaysia, the Silk Road will not be that successful. People will say, maybe ask why. The Silk Road at that time, main products to sell tea leaves. And tea at that time was so expensive and difficult, very expensive to preserve, to protect. But Malaysia has the best mine of tin. And the Silk Road, because of the Malaysia mine of the tin plus the tea makes the Silk Road happens. Without the tin of Malaysia, the Silk Road tea trade will never be that popular. And of course, without the tea trading, without the Silk Road, in 18th century, Malaysia will never be the #1 country of having the tin products. So this is amazing of trade. This is amazing about the business. And I feel sorry for the WTO negotiation. Because I think when you put 200 government officers in one room to agree on something, it is very difficult. But if we can put the 200 business people in one room, we will negotiate out something. And by working with government, business people can do better. This is a perfect project that a globalization company like Alibaba and a country with great vision, great leadership, that we make this thing happen for 4 months. Of course, this is only a beginning. And I'm a strong believer that if the trade stops, war starts. Trade is to make people respect the other people's culture. Trade is not about a product exchange. It's about an idea exchange, innovation exchange. So I'm a strong believer that one day, if the world stops trade, the war will start. And if the war stops, the trade begins. So today, in Alibaba history, it's our first time, our CEO Daniel from Alibaba Group, Chairman of Ali Ant Financing, Lucy, and all the Alibaba senior management, together with 16 largest logistic companies of China, we come to Malaysia for this great event. We think today symbolizes that government and business can work it together. This symbolizes that a nation would commit for the digital period for inclusive for everybody. I know it's not easy. We can negotiate for 4 months, but make it happen may take about 4 years or 14 years. To improve it will take about 40 years. But if we start from today, things could happen. And I want to say in the past 10 years, many things changed. China, e-commerce, nobody will believe that e-commerce could happen in China. People keep on asking me, why Alibaba go that big on e-commerce, bigger than the United States? Why not because we are smart. I'm not smart. We don't have a lot of smart people like 15 years ago. This is because the business infrastructure in China at that time were too bad. In the USA, commerce infrastructure was so good. So it is very difficult for e-commerce to survive. E-commerce in America is a dessert, but in China, it becomes the main course. And I think here the same. I heard that 97% of the business in Malaysia are small business, but they control only less than 40% of the GDP. I think 90% of the small business could produce at least 80% of the GDP. Because if we have more small business, that means we have more jobs. If we have more small business, that means we have more middle class. If we have more small business, that means the country's economy can be stabilized, can be sustainable. So the digital free trade zone is trying to make the business more inclusive, is trying to make the small business, the business more sustainable, and try to make the business world more happy and healthy. For example, for the e-business grows so fast, we also grow another business called logistics. Today, the 16 companies coming here, they get 70% of the logistic package delivered in China. What does that mean? 15 years ago, China only created less than 1 billion packages per year. Today, China created more than 30 billion packages per year. And 70% of the logistics were created by the people here, 16 companies. And these 16 companies, 10 years ago, none of them exist. This is the magic of technology. This is the magic of the entrepreneurships. So if you really want to do it, we can make it happen. And we want to make this logistic, we'll make this hub be the center of this hub. We were making sure in every 72 hours, in next 20 years, anywhere in the world, if you want to place an order online, within 72 hours, you receive it. So this will be the hub of this area and working together. And finally, I want to say that the first time I heard about Alibaba has a wrong definition was in Malaysia. They think Alibaba is a thief. We will prove it because I was considered, people call me thief, a liar 18 years ago when I tell about what is internet in the future, what e-commerce will do for the world. Nobody believed it. And we proved in the past 18 years. And I want, let's working out together that we should change the dictionary in Malaysia for Alibaba. And the other thing I want to say that last year I fly in the air for more than 800 hours. I travel around the world. I learn a lot of things. I understand one thing. What does globalization mean? Globalization is not to go the other carrier because of the cheap labor. It's not about open factories going there because there is a cheap, low-cost raw materials. Globalization means create jobs, create values for the local people. Globalization means make technology, financing, everything inclusive. And globalization means respect the other culture. So this is what we want to do in the next 30 years. Using the technology, making young people below 30 years old, making small business less than 30 people. Next 30 years is the great period for human lives. If you view it good, let's do it in a good way. So the Silk Road and the one road, one belt is something we should think about. We should use technology. We should leverage young people. Let's immobilize all the small business. It's about inclusive friendship, peace. And I think this country, this location was so friendly to business, not only today, in the history, and it's going to be the future. Because of the digital, this country, this area could be more powerful. This is what I believe. And finally, people keep on asking, in the future, which side will win, west side or east side? And I'm a believer, it's not west wing or east wing. If we work together, we both win. And there's nothing that we cannot do if we work together. Making sure the world is for young people. Making sure the world is for small business. And making sure that everything we do are inclusive. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.